Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hey, it's Robert J. Moore, Next Level. Everybody's got a dream. The dream of being someone someday. The dream of being a part of something someday. The dream of becoming something someday. When I was young, I didn't have a dream. I was living on the street. It was my parents' fault, my teacher's fault, my friend's fault. Blaming everybody else but my own fault. And the reason for that is because I didn't want to take the responsibility. I thought I was living a horrible life. I didn't know what to do. Living on the streets for 7 years. Outside in the cold, nothing to eat. Starving for days on end. I was broke. Almost $100,000 in debt. Hadn't showered in days. Running from my emotions for many years. I was embarrassed of the way of my lifestyle was to even ask for help. I was a high school dropout. I had no education. Where was I going to get a job? Until I became sick and tired of looking around and seeing others achieve opportunities after opportunities. And that's when it changed my life. My life started getting better. I realized taking responsibility for my own actions. If I wanted to achieve success, I had to learn how to look at all the ugly stuff in my life. Realize negativity is part of the journey. All those negative things that were going on in my life. I had to sort them out. I had to learn how to deal with them. I had to learn how to overcome them. I had to learn how to put new emotions towards them. And I had to learn how to think positive. That was hard. Until one day that somebody believed in me, gave me an ounce of hope. And they told me, get yourself some education. Write yourself a book. Let the people know.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the Reid Method Insider Podcast. It's episode 44 in studio tonight, live from Toronto to the world. My shows are always recorded here, and even though we are live on Facebook tonight, my shows are edited for the audio portion of the podcast. So even though we may goof off tonight in the studio, the edited versions will be on SoundCloud and iTunes and wherever you can listen to podcasts across the world. So without further delay, thank you so much for those of you who's been waiting online live to watch this episode. I'm going to jump right into it with our special guest tonight. So this episode is about how to share your authentic story to positively affect others. And we know that many people in our past have, we're impacted by other people's authentic stories that literally when shared we say, oh my goodness, and it changes one's perspective in one life. So I'm happy to have tonight a gentleman that we'll get into how we met, but Robert J. Moore is a therapist, international speaker, and business coach that has impacted the lives of many through the work associated with his international award-winning best-selling books. First one, From Rock Bottom to Success, and he'll tell you all about that. And the second one, The Better Way Formula, Principles for Success. His success story has impacted hundreds of thousands of people throughout the world with his emotional tale that has provided insights on how to determine one's worth and to create a life of abundant joy and success. Robert has been interviewed by many magazines from around the world on national TV, radio shows, and has also shared the world-class stages with Les Brown, Bob Prater, Raymond Aaron, and many others. So Robert has studied 40 of the world's top super achievers. And you know what we talk about on this show about super achievers. So this is a perfect guy to have on the show tonight. He studied 40 top super achievers in the past decade to build his latest coaching program titled Authentic Stories to Impact Millions, creating opportunities for themselves and ultimately shape their lives towards better outcomes. Robert is living proof that you can use your story to impact others around the world. And that is why we have Robert in studio with us tonight. Welcome to the show, Robert. It's been a long time coming.
Right? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for making the trip with me. And we're in studio tonight to talk about, we first met on stage, speaking, sharing the same stage in Niagara Falls.
It's true, yeah.
And that's where we kind of hit it off. And we've connected from there, and we've been keeping in touch from there. And we've kind of seen each other evolve. There goes my mic.
And break things.
And break mic. We've seen each other evolved through our career.
Your arm's going to get sore.
I know my arm's going to get sore, but it's okay. That's okay. We'll let him fix it. So tell me, I mean, from that night that we met to here we are today, about a year later.
Yeah, it's just over a year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just over a year, yeah.
It was in the winter, so that much I think it was in the winter.
I'm not sure. I can't remember. Actually, you know what? May 29th was my birthday. It was June 26th.
Okay.
June 26th
so
precisely.
it was early summer. Oh, look at that. So it's just over a year.
Yeah.
Awesome. So my first experience with you was at Mo Mondays Niagara when Ronnie Fisher was running that franchise, and what an awesome experience that was, because you and I got to meet so many other interesting people that we've shared similar experiences and been able to network with and seen and support and help grow. So our last episode on the show was episode 43. This is episode 44. And you and I happen to know the man that was on episode 43, okay, who's Mr. Les Brown. And Les Brown, our episode then was about getting unstuck. And I gather from watching you speak, especially when you spoke at Mo Mondays, there was a point in your life where you felt stuck.
Yeah.
So why don't you share with the audience on how you...
There's several different ways I could actually say it. It's just not being stuck. It's actually, you're looking at resistance, right? You're actually looking at a different way of thinking. We don't want to overcome something that we don't know how to overcome, because it makes you feel stuck, that your brain is starting to stretch.
Yeah.
Right? But that's the time when you are actually growing. That's the time you have to grab it and grind it and go for it and hustle and get through it, because on the other side, the success is there. You know, I was a drug addict, alcoholic for many years. I was in and out of jail. To be successful today took a lot of work. And some of the top people I've shared stage with. How's that even possible for a guy like myself to do that without having the knowledge at first? It's because what I did was I moved forward, I studied them and studied them and studied them. And half of these people, the 40 people, I either interviewed, right, or I've shared stage with, or because they're deceased, I just watched their videos and learned in depth. Now, I bought into their packages, though. I had to hire some of the best coaches in the world, Les Brown and Marcos, buddy of ours, Think and Grow Rich, was he, at that time he was, Think and Grow Rich, operations manager he was.
Okay.
Yeah, for Think and Grow Rich. And then Eric Thomas, Ted McGrath, right? And that's the one that taught me, all these guys taught me different angles, how to deal with things. I mean, just next month, actually next Monday, I'll be on with Raymond Aaron, New York bestselling author. Great. And we'll be on Facebook Live.
So, what was the trigger moment? I mean, from someone that was a drug addict and homeless, and folks, this is a real really down to earth story, success story, where you actually have to look at the man today in person and said, unbelievable, number one. And so I want to know, what was the moment, that defining moment where you said no more?
I got tired of emotionally numb. The more I drank, the more I suppressed. I became emotionally numb. That's when I said, you know what? Something needs to change. And I got tired I had no friends around. I was sleeping outside on the streets for 7 years. I didn't know who to turn to. I thought asking for help would only make me look bad. Everybody already knew what I was doing. I'm the only one that didn't know. I had no clue what I was doing to myself. Asking for that help was the best thing I've ever done in my life. So for those who are listening, ask for help, because I'll tell you something, whatever you're struggling with, someone else has already done it. They've already been through it. Now they're succeeding something else.
Yeah. No, that's really hardcore in terms of, realizing, number one, that you're in this position, asking for the help.
Yeah.
Not being,
It's humble.
Yeah. Wide coaches that that have actually coached you, and I know, we happen to both know Les Brown, and he's a mentor of mine, unofficially, but I mean, who is he not mentoring in the world, right? With his most motivation, and he's been on this show quite a few times, and I've just been very, very fortunate to have someone like him, in both our circles, to uplift us. So there are many, many ways today to share one story. How did you find the dedication, discipline, and on the time needed to think and put your thoughts together to be writing books from the position that you were at to now?
That is a funny question, because I'll tell you something. When I was going through, I wanted to get my education. I finally got clean and sober, so I said, let's go get my education. I got my grade 12. While doing my grade 12, there was a lady that came up to me, and she was very, very...
At what age was the grade 12?
32 years old.
So
believe it or not, that's when I started, 32 years old.
So that's a story in its own.
Yeah. There's a lot going on in between. But that's for another podcast.
Yeah.
So this lady, very, very boring. I thought she deserved the respect. She was a trustee for the Simcoe County School Board. It was very, dry. It was dry. It was all about trustee stuff, and I wasn't really interested in that. I'm just becoming clean and sober. I went up to her and I said, listen, I respect what you did today. It was very interesting. I lied a little bit, like a white knuckle lie, right? And I just wanted to thank her for being there, taking the time to come down and talking to us. And she said, thank you. And then she says, do you mind if I get to know you a bit? I said, sure, no problem. She told me who she was. She was obviously way up there. She used to be the chairperson of the Board of Education, and really up north. And she goes, I already heard about you.
Oh, really?
I said, I hope it's a good thing. I said, because I'm tired of being on the front cover doing bad things. She goes, no, I heard about you because you helped save someone's life not long ago.
Oh, my goodness.
And what happened was that I was a counselor for many years and a therapist for many years, because of being drugs and alcohol, registered counselor. And I helped save someone's life by them coming to me and me taking the time. They never asked for money. I never asked for money. I just wanted to help them. I saw how bad shape they were. I said, listen, let me just help you out. I got them in the detox. I got them to agree to go into detox. I would visit them once in a while, and they didn't want to see anybody else. I'd visit them, and I'd actually spend time with them. That's all I did. I didn't save their life.
Wow.
I just gave them hope. That's all I did.
I heard Les Brown tell the same story, not necessarily the same circumstances, but he mentioned on the last episode where there was a man that dropped off his wife to one of his workshops or seminars, and she was walking into the seminar, he was walking to the restroom, and happened to bump into the guy kind of in the hallway on the way out after dropping his wife off. And apparently they spoke for a few minutes, but then later he received a letter from that man saying, thank you for talking to me, because he was actually going home to kill himself.
Wow.
Yeah,
I remember that story.
Yeah, he told that story, and I'm like, this is unbelievable. So you never know when you're able to, what you're able to say or do, or for some people it's really not much, but they just don't get the time or the respect, you know, and that's humility.
Well, I'll tell you something. From all the education I have, right from social service worker, addiction counseling, and BA in psychology, master's in counseling psychology, harm reduction, and mental health crisis, I learned that we affect 40 people no matter what we do. Mm-hmm. Either you're doing something positive or negative. We're affecting 40 people around us. There's always someone staring at us saying, I like to do that, or I like to be like that, or I like to overcome that. Mm-hmm. How do I get there? Without asking. Sometimes they don't know how to ask.
Exactly. Well, so based on that and all the, you know, since folks at age 32 getting his grade 12, you know, completing grade 12.
It was hard.
Then going on to do all those other college courses and getting all those other awards and the level of education now that you have. What have you discovered through that process about yourself that you did not know before?
At first, stubborn. I discovered I was stubborn. Well, you know what? I'll be honest with you that I'm a lot smarter than I thought I was. Mm-hmm. When you put yourself out there and you achieve a small goal, just a small little one daily, that we figured we weren't able to do, it makes our feelings go a little bit better about ourselves. Mm-hmm. So now we're looking at ourselves saying, you know, our self-will, our self-will is going a little bit better. We're starting to get stronger, and now we're looking at ourselves a little differently.
Yeah.
Right? So when you go into the mirror and say you're well and worthy, it gives yourself more hope. So I did that daily, and you move forward. So each day I would achieve a small goal. Now I don't do small goals. I go for the big ones. You
go for the big ones. Nice. So define to me then, based on that answer, you know, you go for the big goals. Now, define to me what success looks like for Robert J. Moore.
For me, everybody is individually, success is the individual for them.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different meaning for it. Myself is, I want to be global. I want to be able to help millions of people around the world reach their potential. I'm not going to say success, because success is different for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? So I'll say reach their potential. Grab their inside story and be able to tell it either on stage or, you know, co-author a book with myself or somebody else, or even write a book. Right? When they start telling their story and they start really defining what their story really is and breaking down all the other crap, because when we talk about our story, we have to break it at certain levels. My story has, if you ever see the ones on YouTube, there's 4 or 5 different ways of telling it. When you're telling your story, you want to go with, who's your audience? What do you want to talk about when your audience is there? Those are the people you want to engage. So when we're out there and we're driving our car and we're hearing a podcast like this, and we're thinking, well, hey, I can do that too. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can do that. It's not as hard as you think. It's just that we're conditioned to believe we cannot achieve a better goal than what we're achieving now.
Yeah, this is a very, very, you know, very deep subject, because you and I you've come from that place of, you know, whether you're referred to as despair or darkness for some time, to now helping already hundreds of thousands, and now looking to help millions across the world, and being thrusted on stage with worldwide successful motivational guys such as Les Brown, Bob Proctor, and many others. But lately, you and I have witnessed many other celebrities, such as, you know, Anthony Bourdain. You've got, you know, we've got the gentleman there from Good Morning Vietnam, Robin Williams.
Yeah.
And all those people who have what you thought was success, right? Financially anyways. But they have, I mean, at least we now know now.
Robin Williams is a prime example.
Yeah.
I want to just explain this to our listeners out there, because you can achieve anything you want in life, but if you're not feeling it inside and you're not happy inside, then back off. Because here's a guy that literally said, I'm going to be the funniest guy and get an award for it. He did. He get a Grammy for it. I'm going to be the funniest guy out there in my role, but be recognized as not so funny. And he won an award for that too. Here's a guy who can achieve anything he wanted to do. But the problem is he couldn't achieve the inner peace. And that's why what happened, it happened. He didn't get the proper help he needed. You know, God bless his soul. For anybody out there, if you're feeling that way too, and you're thinking that you need to do something to achieve, it's not that way. If you need the side help, get the help you need in order to achieve. Because you know what? Achieving success comes with emotions. All right? I've seen many, many people achieve goals too quick and not be able to absorb those emotions. And they fail after they do it. After they do that, like myself, if I get on stage with Les Brown, and if I didn't know how to digest those feelings, what would happen? I'd crumble. I love helping, empowering others to reach that potential. And that's just not leaving them there either. That's showing them the way to get there and maintaining that. And handing it, we're going to crumble, we're going to fall, we're going to stumble, right? It happens.
So is there something, with everything that you've now learned, and the fact that you've, been down, been up, now you're helping others, now you never know, you just have to be a good person. You just have to be thoughtful, and you have to be authentic. I think if you just keep it real, you attract some other real people, because they like real people, right?
You're better off to have real people than someone's going to fake it, that's for sure.
So my question was going to be, now that you've been through all these ups and downs, and you're raising a young family, you've got a daughter here tonight who's joined us on the trip up tonight, and she's a great girl, by the way.
Thank you.
Is there something that you believe wholeheartedly that other people may think is crazy?
That you can do it. Believe it or not. When I told people I was going to be on stage with Les Brown, Bob Proctor, Raymond Aaron, Douglas Vermeer, I was asked to speak on, and many others, I didn't believe it. People thought I was nuts. Right, you're not even going to get into Yorkdale and sell your books. I've been in numerous times selling my books at Yorkdale Mall.
And so what would you share with the audience, the first thing that you typically would do in the morning?
Well, there's several things you could do. I mean, I actually get on with Eric Thomas and his boys at the BU team at Breathe University. And it's called the men's group. It's a prayer group.
It's a prayer group.
So I get on 6:15 in the morning, and from Monday to Friday I get on there and I do the prayer group. Some of it don't relate to me, so I kind of jump off it. It's no big deal. But other times I get on there.
It's a prayer.
And we're it's a prayer group. You're talking about stories of success stories and how to achieve things in different ways. And the one day that actually touched me is after when my dad died. It really got me good, because Eric Thomas actually stopped the traffic on the phone and said, "You realize you just touched a moment in my heart that really means a lot." Because what you just said is so true.
This has been good. I'm glad that we've kind of dove a little bit more into the story and into what you're really about, and how your story can help others to live their story, and to be impactful to so many people. So I absolutely, I share your sentiments. I respect what you've done. And I really wanted your story shared with the audience, because I've seen you, I've met you, we've shared stages together, I've heard a bit about your story, but I really wanted you to tell the story, because only the real person can tell it best, and give us the perspective we need on how to overcome adversity and how to share authentic stories to positively affect others. And that's what this episode 44 was about, from Robert J. Moore, my special guest, how to share your authentic story to positively affect others. And folks, this has been episode 44 of the Reid Method Insider Podcast. I've had Robert J. Moore on with me tonight, and we just knocked off a lot of deep stuff on success principles, on living your dream, knowing your why. What are a couple of things that we want to leave with the audience that we covered?
One thing I do want to say is don't focus on your how. Hire a coach to get that how, because you know what, we emphasize too much on how we're going to do things. We forget our why. Right? So when you're going down that road and you want to achieve another goal, hire a coach that's already done that, been there, got the t-shirt, and moving forward, because they'll be able to teach you the obstacles to avoid, and you don't have to go through that hardship. I mean, yeah, it costs a little bit of money, guys.
Yeah, of course.
You know what?
But investing in yourself is Warren Buffett, anybody will tell you, it's the best thing you can do.
What's going on? Robert J. Moore. My name is James Franklin. I was a quarterback at Mizzou from 2010 to 2013, and now playing quarterback currently for the Toronto Argonauts up here in the Canadian Football League. But I just wanted to reach out and say I really appreciate and love how you're always thinking of others. It's always encouraging when you see other people helping out and trying to help others get to where they want to be. So keep up the good work, and cheers, man.
Hello everyone, my name is Serena Brown Travis, and I'm the youngest daughter of the legendary motivational speaker Les Brown. Robert J. Moore has been my mentor. We've developed a friendship, and he's been the guy who has coached me. It's because of you that I have found the strength and the confidence to even sit where I'm sitting today. I know I owe a great deal of gratitude and a great deal of my success to Robert J. Moore. Robert J. Moore, I love you, and I cannot wait to connect with you soon. Take care.
Hey Robert, Bob Doyle here from the film and book The Secret. And so my understanding is that The Secret had an impact on you. It has helped you to create a vision for who you want to be and raise yourself up to celebrity status for whatever your reasons are. The most important advice I can give you at this point is to really be clear on who you want to be. What is that celebrity Robert J. Moore look and feel like?
Well, looking at what I've already accomplished, now I figure out, okay, well, how am I going to share this with the world? How am I going to get recognized? How am I going to be able to let people see my full potential? So what do? I just keep building myself up. I keep talking to people, keep building relationships with different people, and not worrying about the money. I'm not focusing on the money. When I'm not focusing on the money, it's allowing me to build a relationship and not get in the way. I can honestly say I've been honored. Featured in Forbes, Fortune, Inc., HuffPost. I've basically been in all the magazines now. The thing is, it's about leveraging it. It's about leveraging it and showing the people that you have something they need. And what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that is, simply put, if you tell someone that you have a solution to a problem and give them tangible proof that you can do it, they're going to work with you. If they're going to see you as a flake, they're not going to work with you. So always remember a solution to a problem and a call to action. I really hope that you reach out, not only to myself, to anybody else, and get the help that you need for any purposes, for business, mental health, or whatever it may be. But thank you so much for listening this time, and I hope to see you again next week. Cheers, everyone.